Do you ever overdo things and then find yourself unable to do the simplest of things because it hasn't worked out? You're listening to episode 79 of the Feel Better Everyday podcast. I'm your host, Eve Menezes Cunningham. I'm an author, trauma therapist and survivor, senior accredited supervisor, ADHDer, and so on. You can find out more and access lots of free resources and other information at selfcarecoaching.net. And every Tuesday, I share a new episode to help trauma survivors and ADHDers take better care of yourselves and create a life you don't need to retreat from. In today's episode, we're using my Feel, Love, Heal framework to explore the reality that can be especially hard for us to grasp in terms of less being more. It's one of those things in terms of baby steps, turtle steps, taking things slower, not launching full speed ahead, and then overwhelm, paralysis, all the rest of it. But a few weeks ago, I had a visceral experience, and I'm hoping that sharing it with you and some self-care ideas will inspire you to go easier on yourself, be gentler with yourself, and get more effective in terms of what you're choosing to do. I was going to say get more done, but it's like, no, you deserve rest, you deserve peace, you deserve ease. As a byproduct of that, you will get more done because there'll be less chaos. So a few weeks ago, I was mowing my lawn. And as a bit of a disclaimer, I'm nearly 50, but I've only had a lawn to mow the last few years because I lived in tiny little studio flats for so long. And it's been a steep learning curve. I'm still trying to rewild sections. I am rewilding sections, but it's all been a big learning curve. My partner finally convinced me to get a petrol lawnmower rather than the manual lawnmower that I had been using barefoot to get grounding while I mowed. Obviously can't do that with a petrol lawnmower because it would be too dangerous. But that little manual mower, it would take me hours to do this small little front lawn. The petrol lawnmower is much more effective. But he saw how I was doing it when it was a bit overgrown because the weather, blah, 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 lots of reasons, not been keeping on top of it. The west coast of Ireland is phenomenal and there's a lot of rain. And that makes it really lush. And also it grows really quickly. You can't mow wet grass. It takes much longer. So it had got quite long again, even though I was doing my best to keep on top of it. So another metaphor for feeling overwhelmed and chaotic. But when he saw what I was doing, he suggested that I do half lines. So rather than like side by side, redoing half of the line and then the next line redoing half of the line. And I had to obviously bite back some of my pathological demand avoidance. But I tried it because I have been experimenting more and more with gentleness, with taking it easy. And it was like, it really does work. I didn't have to stop as often and it was a joy. So it has been something, having had that visceral experience, that I've been applying to other areas of my life in terms of less being more, taking the gentler approach that feels like it's going to take much longer, but ultimately actually is not only easier, but takes less time than the old overdoing it collapse, overdoing it overwhelm, overdoing it paralysis. So yeah, I hope this episode will help you. Um, for the feel part of the Feel, Love, Heal framework, I want you to identify something in your life where you tend to go full speed ahead and end up in chaos, end up feeling overwhelmed, end up feeling miserable and ineffective and like you can't do anything. And if you're anything like I used to be, you might be thinking all areas of my life. List all of them, list everything that comes up and then pick one. You can do this for the others, it won't take long, but start with one. I still find that hard to do myself because I want to do all the things at once. But identify one problem, one area in your life, and know that the others that you've listed are there safely for you to return to when you have found some peace and ease and gentleness around this first area. For the love part of the Feel, Love, Heal framework, it's more so the feel part, it's the self-care, the lowercase s, something you're doing to regulate, something you're like taking action, in this case, emptying your brain, making it visible externally. And for the love part, it's more of that uppercase S self-care, the beyond the person, the love archetype. And it's about finding affection for that part of yourself that does these things. And instead of, why have I done that? Why have I overdone it again? Why am I at the point of collapse again? Why am I, for example, a couple of weeks ago, I had the idea to switch offices. So I moved from the smallest room in the house to what is actually the main bedroom, but I use a different bedroom because I like being able to look up at the mountain. And I am now indulging in this gorgeous space that I can't believe is my office. And it means it's much nicer for my in-person clients and supervisees as well. But I just moved the webcam around to give you a bit of a view if you're listening and wondering why that went a bit wonky. But I had the idea on the Monday lunchtime when I was doing a yoga nidra, and by the Wednesday evening, I had completely moved into this room. It looked amazing. By the Tuesday morning, I had it so that I could do my online work. And it was like right behind me. It looked great. The rest of the room was in chaos, and the rest of the house was in chaos. The rest of the house is taking shape, but this has come from years and years of learning to work, and also the ADHD medication is helping. This time, rather than why do I do this, like when the rest of the house was in complete chaos, I was able to say, oh, I've done it again. And I'm not going to stay up. I'm not going to work through the night. I'm not going to like ignore all my deadlines and everything else in order to tidy. Instead, I'm going to take it bit by bit. And it's been a lovely, lovely, gentle way. It's not completely there in terms of the rest of the house, but I now have everything far more accessible. The little room, I now have like my clothes horses, my snorkel gear, my suitcase, one of the cat litter trays, all the like big, like bulky cat food and coats, and it's more of a utility room. I've got my kind of Christmas and Halloween decorations, all the DIY stuff. Like it's been headachy, but far less headachy than at any other time in my life because I was able to own that part of myself that wants to do it all in one go and kind of think, oh, that's so sweet, so delusional. Let's not do that this time. Let's be gentler. And I want you to think of that part of yourself with fondness, with compassion, like you might with a toddler or a small child, someone like just in a bit over their heads, and just dial it back. Send lots of love, send lots of compassion to yourself. Remind yourself it's safe to go slowly. It's safe to take it easy. It might not have been when you were younger, but it is now. You're in safety, and it's constantly reaffirming that to yourself. And even if it feels silly, recognizing that your extra sensitive nervous system needs that support, needs that reminder. You can just hold your hand on your heart, like kind of one hand on top of the other, and just, it's okay, whatever your name is. I'm safe. It's safe to go slower. It's safe to take it easier. It's safe to be gentle with myself. I'm not lazy. I will get it done. Like whatever you need to hear, like honor your nervous system and honor younger yous who were potentially told that you should be able to do things more easily and not being accommodated in ways that would have helped you actually do things more easily. Just sending so much love to those traumatized younger parts, and let yourself heal, move into the heal part of the framework, the co-regulation, the collective care. So it might be about accessing more support. It might be talking to a therapist or a coach. It might be body doubling. It might be joining a group. In the Soul to Soul Circle tomorrow, members will be getting a yoga nidra to help with ease and gentle progress, making more effective things easier with smaller steps. So helping to program the unconscious mind to make it easier to not overdo things off the yoga mat, or like if you're using your sofa or your bed as your yoga nidra nest, just helping to harness the power of the unconscious mind around that kind of temptation to do all the things and overdo it, and instead begin to create that sense of safety within your nervous system, to create that sense of safety within your home, within your life, within your work, within your relationships, and knowing that you deserve that sense of peace and ease and gentleness. So I would love to hear how you're getting on, what problem you've identified, how you're addressing yourself with affection and acceptance of exactly where you are, rather than trying to change anything, beating yourself up, and what you might do to heal. Like maybe there is someone you can body double with, or you're going to seek out therapy or coaching or whatever it might be. Maybe you want to join the Soul to Soul Circle. You can find out more at selfcarecoaching.net. But just thinking, again, let yourself be open to solutions that may not exist, but just ask yourself, if you were to be able to join or create a community that would really, really help you with whatever it is you're struggling with, make it up. Just list all the things that that community would have. It may be that it already exists, or it may be that it partially exists and you can already begin to benefit from some of those supports. Let me know how you get on in the comments, or email eve@selfcarecoaching.net. And thank you very much for listening or watching. I'd love it if you're happy to share with someone you think might benefit from this episode, and like, comment, review, and so on. And just be gentle with yourself. Notice how taking things that bit easier, like thinking of your equivalent of doing half a line again in terms of mowing the lawn, whatever it might be. It might feel like it's slower, it might feel like it's frustrating when you think about it, but experiment with it and let me know how you get on. Let me know also what you'd like more of in the future, and I look forward to sharing more next week. Have a delightful week.